Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Chad, can you do the roll call?
Supervisor Craig. Here. Supervisor Thorne.
Here.
Chairman Shaler.
Here.
And welcome back, Mr. Supervisor Wolford.
Here, thank you.
And Supervisor Bromer is excused today.
Can I get a motion to go into public comment?
I'll motion public comment.
I'll second that. I get a motion by Kelsey, second by Terry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Who wants to start? Go ahead, Bruce.
At the last meeting, you didn't hear anybody bring it up as far as looking for more money. Possibly you could raise the sign permits.
You comment on
I mean, that's definitely something the board can look at. It's just it'd be a simple adjustment to the fee schedule, which again, we should probably look at maybe December anyways, but.
it?
And that, and I know it ain't a lot, but usage of the well up there too. I mean, it all adds up. You're short of money.
Try to remember, we'll put that on the December's agenda.
Yeah,
That's gonna be, okay.
just to look at it if any changes need to happen.
All right. Anything else, Bruce?
Yeah, Bob, I see looking at attorney fees. You have $5,000 in there, and I see they switched from one account to another, and it's still in there. Is that something you expect to use an attorney for this year?
Nothing specifically. We're looking at want to have some in there because city is looking to make changes, so you never know exactly how that goes because the agreement will come up. Got an extension, so
Yeah, what can you tell us about this fiasco that's going on?
I have little knowledge of what they're doing down there, other than they are trying to probably figure out how to generate more revenue themselves for their utility. That's purely my speculation. I don't know the answer to that. So being that I know we have negotiation, it's typically when we use it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny that they wanted to do a 1-year extension earlier this year. I mean, the red flag goes up right there.
Like most of the communities feel the same way, but they are the central processing, DNR site. So
Yeah, it's either a money or a land grab going on all the time by the city. You expect a fight out of that deal, or?
I really don't. I think that just having it budgeted, we just want to make sure we have it. We figured it would be last year, now it's going to be next year. So it's really about as fancy as it gets.
What's the next step then, as far as them waiting to see what their new proposal is, or?
Yep, it'll be. I talked with Mike a little bit. They've got some money. Let's get way off in past budget, and constraint on what they've got. But they've got infrastructure that they're going to have to do some upgrades, and they've got funding available. Part of it is that shared resource that we've all been paying into. It's supposed to be dedicated just to upgrades, and that's kind of what we have too in our account. But we've also been paying into it, and making sure that the consumers really in sewer utility is what it comes down to. And
So this includes all the municipalities that use the disposal plant down there.
Yep.
And you must raise the sewer rates for everybody?
I don't know what they're going to do, but that would be the. That's the community that we're part of. So Onalaska, La Crescent, Shelby, everybody's in it. So, yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Usually is. Those guys.
For the city. Nate, I got a question for you. The fire department have a drone?
We do.
Do. How long have you had it?
Well, the Firefighters Association purchased it. It's been maybe 2 years.
You used it much, or?
Actually, I grounded it because I wanted to. I was concerned about the laws around drone usage so close to the airport. So the laws were changing as it was purchased, and it just seemed like a risk. So I said, it's not responsible to do that unless we have certified pilots. So we've been looking for a donor to maybe certify the pilots.
What kind of money was it?
I think it was about $1,600 total with extra batteries and everything else.
I suppose, if you get a pilot for it, I would imagine it comes out of that same budget then,
No, we're trying to do a pilot at no cost.
or really someone within the fire department, or?
Well, originally, based on the laws when we initially purchased it, we could have our own company level training program to train pilots, and as long as we met the standards for the FAA, it was legal. And then the FAA changed the standards so that you had to pass basically like a pilot ground school. And so when that happened, that test was very expensive. And so we were going to see if we might be able to work with somebody locally that runs ground schools to see if we could have a donation. We had a connection through one of the churches that one of our firefighters goes to, and it hasn't come to fruition yet, but they were exploring.
Thanks.
Sure.
So there's a FAA drone license that's separate from the actual ground school though. Okay, I got it. So,
Yeah, it's all been changing.
yep.
That's within about the last year, isn't it?
Actually, it's in the last year. Yep. It's supposed to be just general use. Everybody's supposed to have. If you operate close to any of those restricted, you're supposed to have.
Anything else, Bruce?
Yeah, to go along with raising the sign permits thing, I know it was discussed last meeting, but is there any more thoughts of raising the fees to rent the community center?
Take a shot, Joe?
I'd like to raise them, but I think we need to fix it up before we raise them. I think it needs to offer a little bit more than what it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cheap rental.
But I mean, I would be personally willing to pay any more. I mean, you can't. There's no Wi-Fi. I know Chad and I discussed it several times, putting Wi-Fi in there and helping it a little bit.
Well, did you guys do any chip sealing last year?
This summer?
Last year?
No. No, we didn't get to any until this year.
So basically, that money that was set aside for chip sealing was probably used to buy that tanker for spraying the intersections.
No, the tanker was.
If you're doing the chip seal, the money was allotted for that, so
Yeah. Yep, no, we didn't get to any chip seal last year.
yeah. That's why I say that money must have went for that spraying. Because it was,
I
it was
just want to
there.
look at it that way.
The money
I don't
was
think it
there.
came directly from that, but.
There's a separate line item for that, isn't there?
Mhm.
For chip? Yeah. Anything else, Bruce?
I guess that's all I got for now.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Can I get a motion to close public comment?
So move.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Move down to business A, working session 2018 Town of Campbell General Fund and Utility Fund budget. I come in earlier, talked to Chad, and he said we're still 46,000 over. I thought we were at 28. So we were talking about a few things that he thought we could cut, and I guess if this is right, Ralph, he said he could take 13,000 out of the chip.
Yeah, we added some this year to try to make up for some of that. But that put us right back to where we were. And we're just trying to make up a little bit, but we can make do. We did this year.
All right, that brings down to 33,000. I'd really like to get back to the 28 that we were hoping to last week. And so Chad and I were discussing after a couple other cuts and some of the training. I'd like to take 2,000 out of the police training and the fire department's training, which would bring us down to 29, which would be pretty close to what we're at. So, go ahead.
Never mind.
Okay. And then he was telling me we could go take 3,000 from the community center. I know there was, like you say, when you're inside, it starts to look pretty tough.
I'm not even gonna speak my piece, there's no point.
Um,
Whatever you four decide.
Anything else on that thing? You want to add to it, or?
Well, I'm just not sure if we need to cut the 2,000 for the police department. I mean, he cut 6,000 from his budget already.
Mhm.
I don't know, I just don't know if that's fair. But that's not my place. That's yours.
Agreed. I'm $7,800 less than I was my original budget. I had no input in that. It was decided. And I guess I can argue.
Ralph?
So the community center, that was what we were gonna work, that 3,000. That was to put some into that this year, is what we're gonna do that?
Yeah, we're, you can help me with that, Chad? I don't know if you're.
I have $15,000 in there that I wanted, so I wanted to make improvements. And you guys want to drop to 12, if I'm understanding correctly.
Correct.
Well, I mean, I guess what we did is we got together. I mean, we were over budget, so trying to find some suggestions on places and things that we can do to close that gap a little bit more. You know, I look back at a lot of these budget line items, and as we know, most of them are pretty static. I mean, there's not a lot of wiggle room for anybody. Community center general ops generally runs somewhere between $45 and about $4,500 a year. You know, is 15. I guess I don't know what your plans are. You know, I mean, if we're looking to make some room, do we have any true numbers that would justify keeping a $15,000 budget line item in community center general ops when we generally run about 45?
Well, sure, I can go get you tons of bids to get that place up. It could span up to $15,000 if that's what you want.
It's not what we're looking for. We're looking to try and balance a budget.
Well, then we can up the price, and people might be more open to renting it.
Bob, I know you've been involved in plenty of budgets through your time. I mean,
It's always comes down to wants versus needs.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's
Let's move
uncomfortable.
on.
It's uncomfortable.
Woo!
So, did we include any of this, the tennis court and stuff with this budget that's in here right now? So all that, right now we're just looking at the community center, correct?
correct. Yeah, the 38.5 is still in there for the tennis courts and the.
So what I'm getting at is if we can get this thing down on the community center, we're still allowing to put some money in there for some maintenance.
We're not. Yeah, and I'm not saying. Can you get by with? Again, we're just throwing suggestions out there, but can you get by with $7,000 for community center upgrades instead of 10?
Well, we'd still have,
Thought it was going to 12.
12,000.
That's what I mean. The difference, though. I mean, 4,500 is going to be static because that's your utilities and your whatever. You know, I know it's uncomfortable for everybody, but sit in my position too, in your positions. We have a budget.
Is the community center, is this something we can do in phases over a couple of years or?
That's what I mean. That's the conversation that has to happen because
That would mean you three would have to talk to me. Gosh, you're good.
We're talking.
or we keep it the way it is, and you guys decide that you agree to pull 46,000 out of the reserve to cover the remaining budget. That's just that's the nature of it.
Jody, you need to understand the frustration's not with you.
I know.
You're just the messenger.
We sat down for an hour though. I can't find any more money. We can't raise the community center rental anymore, and it's gonna. I mean, you generate 1,000 here and 1,000 there, and some of these fees, it doesn't cover it.
So the capital outlay, general government, we went culture, rec, and ed. Went 35 last year to 70, 2018 budget to 135.
We said no to that, we struck that out of the,
Well, that was for the parking lot.
correct. Didn't we strike that out of there, didn't we?
No, we kept it in the budget.
My parking lot,
No,
oh,
the lot out here.
I
mine
thought,
as in Nelson.
I thought Mitch said he would delay that another year. We take that 70,000 out,
I don't think that's
No.
what it said.
no?
No. For this year, we had budgeted 70,000 for capital outlay to hold that in reserve and then come back
70.
and then another 70, but we've already spent 35 for engineering or for surveying, which leaves about 65,000 left. That's where the 135 comes in as the expense.
Yeah, I thought for sure there he said he would delay that for another year.
It's here somewhere.
There.
No, mine.
Yeah, 'cause I thought that last one we printed up, we took that 70,000 out that we were gonna add to it. Mitch said he would delay it another year.
I honestly don't recall that.
I don't recall that either.
Okay.
I don't think that was the plan to
Yeah.
delay it one more year.
But hey, we have it on recording, I guess if you want to come in and sit and listen to it tomorrow,
Yeah.
you can find out for real. But this has to be done today, doesn't it?
It should be.
So I guess that's not gonna work.
Bring it back up and play it and listen to it.
So that brings us to
26,000.
26,000. So we're still over 26,000. So Bob, how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't want to, I mean,
Last week there
yeah.
we were at 28, and I thought it would be, usually at the end of the year most departments still have some money left in their accounts, so it usually ends up being a wash.
I don't know, anytime you got to take money out of your savings to budget your stuff is never a good formula.
Yeah.
It just, so, I know we did it last year, didn't we?
Correct.
But although, and you haven't been here for that, I'm anticipating about a $50,000 return this year. Yet, so back into the fund.
Okay.
Again, a lot of it's going to depend on the departments. I mean, really just kind of trimming down and buying what they need.
Do we get any extra money from the reval? Is any of that going to show up or not?
I'm not following reval.
Well, do we have a reval for everybody on the island?
They did, but then they lowered the tax rate. So
Yeah, that doesn't affect our budget. No.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Um,
There's going to be it's going to be like what, $300 higher for the total. $396.
oh, yeah, $396.
No.
I think is what you're asking. I mean, there are a couple items in here from a proposed budget standpoint, from a revenue side, and I was talking to Terry a little bit earlier about that. There is some potential additional funds in the revenue that could cut into that a little bit. That I know core penalties and cost parking fees I have same as last year. Talking with Drew, he expects that to be a little bit higher than normal. That could add, as much as $4,000 or $5,000 probably, depending on what they do. Interest rates in there, I got about $20,000 in interest to accrue this year based on the interest rates. We're going to take in About 35,000. I only budgeted 20. So depending on where the interest rates go, there is some shortfalls that we can make up in some of the revenues. But I don't know where the rates are going to be September of next year. Sale of general fixed assets, I got $8,000. Again, that could change depending on, I mean, we could get 15 grand for that old fire truck out there, you know?
I'd highly doubt it.
Speaking of that, are we supposed to be putting that on selling? Are we selling that yet? Like, did you guys put it somewhere?
I was supposed to turn in a list, and we did.
You did? Oh, because I was gonna put it on Facebook, but I haven't seen the list.
Steve and I came in today and worked with Steve and to get it on Wisconsin surplus, and it should start tomorrow, but we just have a couple of questions.
Did you email it?
No, it was dropped off.
Oh,
They should, like by Monday, it'll be in Wisconsin surplus, so we could need a few questions answered. So it should be, I don't know, like you said, I probably ain't gonna get hardly much for it, but
well, I was gonna put it on Facebook is what you guys had asked me.
yeah. I guess Steve had some people inquire about it.
You need a vote up there?
A few people ask me what they're saying.
Oh, really?
But what he has is the form I have to fill out, and I don't have enough information to
Give him a link.
So if we could get that information, I can take the
So
picture.
we the streets and roads, 1.2 million budgeted.
I have that information in the pictures. It doesn't.
That's what the total cost is.
You got a list like that?
There's a whole list right there.
Yeah.
Basically, Wisconsin surplus has a.
Is that supposed to be started and finished by next year?
That's what your cost.
How about I just make a copy of that and so I can plop it on here?
Can we just
No,
look
I
at
know,
see if we can-
Yeah.
Sorry, that really got off topic. That's my fault.
Yeah, I got, this is last year. And, you know, we started out with the 1,400,000 and then the loan and then we were down to, in the squad, we were down to like 120,000 deficit, and then Mitch gave up that 70 for this. He says he can delay it another year. We were down to 70. And,
If you don't know, you just don't know.
we took out that for the trees and got down to 56, and then we took out the tennis court, but we put it back in. But I think we went with the lower one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I thought for sure he said he would delay that for a year. If we did that, delayed that for another year, we wouldn't even have to, we'd have a surplus.
Correct.
Yeah. Can I call him real quick?
Sure. Actually, from reserve standpoints, if we did delay that, we'd actually have about a $4,100 surplus.
Yeah, I thought for sure we delayed that.
Just the finishing of the paving, you're saying?
Just one stage of that, so it'd be inside the gate, and I think some of outside the gate, but not a lot.
Hello, Mitch, Terry Shaler calling. Last week's meeting, I thought we removed that 70,000 for the parking lot, and Chad's got it back in here. We're still trying to work out. We have about 46,000 over. We need to try to figure out where we can make cuts. If you give me a call on my cell, 792-3073, thanks. This is what I had last week.
You think he's gonna be able to call on the time, I don't know what you said, but.
Yeah, I don't know where you're at.
Does he have a cell phone?
You have a cell phone number? Is it saying a cell phone? Is it?
That's his cell phone.
No, that's his house.
That's the house.
Yeah, I got his cell.
Thank you.
I think he's still in like Louisiana or something.
Oh, wow.
What are you doing?
No. Maybe I'll let him catch it. Yeah, because I thought this is what we started all at. And then with the loan for the streets project and then the engine and the squad. And then we had $120 deficit. And then Mitch took out that $70,000 for that parking lot. He says he'll just hold it back for another year, and then we were at like 70. From last week.
What you got?
And then we took out the trees and some training and general ops, and then we were still at 20,000 over 20,000. Last week.
Just an observation, if it helps. The building inspector wages at year end, you're gonna be at 12,100, and they were budgeted for 25,000.
Yeah, those are actually, there's an offsetting revenue for that.
At the meeting, and I thought
So,
last week
there really is, but it's a budget neutral
for
thing.
Your capital outlay to redo the
That
park.
makes sense.
And I see it's in, yeah, no. You said you could do it in a year? Yeah, that's, I thought that's what we did last week. You said you could delay it another year. Okay, you might have to. Okay. Okay. Oh. Yeah, last year's did anyway, but not this year so far. We're at, we started out at 46,000 over. Then we had to try to cut 46, and we were working on trying to get it lowered. But if we took your 70,000, we'd actually have extra. How about if we take that 70 out, but then minus that, we're at 46,000 over. That'd bring us even, and we'll put that towards capital outlay, general government for your parking lot. What's left out of that? Okay. Okay. All right. That would leave you with 24,000 this year. All right. Thank you. Yep. Bye. He said he doesn't have a problem waiting another year, but I thought we'll scratch this whole idea and we'll put 24,000 in the capital outlay for next year, and then we're at zero.
So we get our training budget back,
Yes, sir.
or Kelsey gets her money back for,
I get my $3,000 with me, you said?
Yes, sir. Yes, everybody will go back, like I said, just scratch this whole thing.
Everything, right?
Yeah, sure.
We'll bet not good
We
here.
balance the budget.
And then I'll catch up with myself.
So do you see what I did? This is gonna be, instead of being the 70, this will be 135 with last year's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this one's gonna be, it's gonna be 24,000. That's
So
what's
we'll,
left over.
so we're basically gonna have $99,000 then set aside for 2020.
Or what, yeah, unless he can get it done for that, but the estimates came through at it,
Yeah. We'll
130.
still need another.
Which also means we're waiting one more year on the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah, that's what he said. He'd sure like to get it done next year, but. That work for you, Bob? Are you confused?
Well, that's nothing new.
Okay.
No, I look at it purely from when people are going to come and use that pretty frequently.
Mhm.
So we already held it off. It was just last year. So to be accountable, I would not support that, no.
Okay. So you wanna go back to what the other one was here, where I was taking a couple?
Well, you gotta get it, I mean, if you look at it, you want to do straight budget, I mean, rightfully so to, you know, take my shots for, you know, being traveling last week, so, I mean, I look at it, we're 20,000 over, 26,000 over,
Yes,
right?
correct. If we take that training budgets and, Kelsey's 3,000 for the community center, we're at 26. And, Ralph gave up 13 out of his chip and seal.
So, Bruce just asked about chip and seal, we're taking 13,000 out of that.
It was added to. So that chip and seal will go back to the original budget that it's been for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
So we're trying to beef it up a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
So that brings us at 26, and then we would leave Mitch's 70,000.
And then we could get that parking lot done, but, so,
Where is it at the priority, you know?
yeah,
Top, bottom, middle?
The parking lot over here?
Yeah. Or not really parking lot, it's
Yeah, the yard.
yard waste.
I mean, it's kind of everyday use. I mean, residents during the summer and
I mean, I can't foresee that the price increasing 26,000, but is there a chance that it could, I mean, by waiting another year, what is the price gonna do another year? Are we, if it goes up 10,000, are we holding it off another year for over 16,000 or 10,000? I don't know.
Kelsey?
Maybe you think Steve might have some thoughts on?
I'm sure Steve would like to have that done.
Steve would like the Nelson Park parking lot done too, but we have a plan for that, so don't you worry.
Oh,
I'll get it one way or another.
I don't know. So where are we at now? I haven't thoughts where
We're
we're
at
at.
26,000.
yeah.
Okay, and
We're
what are
back
we
to
planning on
the-
trying to do with that? Trying to figure out where to pull that from once again, right? And then we've already pulled the training and we've already pulled that stuff back out once again.
If we removed Mitch's 70,000 and put 24 in there, we could go back to
So we'd still be able to do this back parking lot
not next year.
the
Not,
year after, and then
Year
we're still
after.
negative 26, so.
we'd be,
Still,
no, we'd be even. If we took this one and changed it from 70 to 24,000, and then we put your 13,000 back in for chip and seal, and then the fire training, police training, they get their 2,000 back. Kelsey will get 3,000 back for the community center, and then, but Mitch is gonna go from 70 to 24.
which means we have to either come up with that money to do it next year or put it off a year.
Or put it off a year. Which I thought this is what we talked about doing last week, is we would just delay it another year. Myself, I would put this all back in the budget and delay this project one more year. You know, we'd have to put the, what would it be, 35? More thoughts? Anybody?
Or we can take that, I mean, I know we don't like to touch that reserve fund, but you're saying we can take 26,000 out of there and we can accomplish everything and just do it this year.
Correct.
I would be okay with that, because I don't think it's a lot of money we're taking out of the general fund, or the reserve fund.
Usually by the end of the year, there's 26,000 left that hasn't gotten used anyway.
You know. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Alright, we'll go that way. Bob?
You guys got enough probably votes to, for that, yeah, probably.
Stay with the plan over here that I started with? That
Well, I
shed?
just don't like taking that money out of the reserve every year to balance the budget.
Yeah. I'm hoping the streets project for the south end of the island too doesn't quite use what we
You know?
loaned for.
I mean, it's a great testimonial to all the department heads that were out, putting money back in, so.
So if somebody wanna make a motion then to go with,
I just got a couple other quick, so the streets and roads utilities route for 40,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had the maintenance, you had 13,000 that was in there for chip seal, you took it back down to 60.
Mm-hmm.
So streets and roads utilities is, where's that typically?
It's going to be your portion of the building, the maintenance shop,
Utility costs.
utility costs, the street lights.
Got it.
We typically hit right around that 40,000 every year.
Yep. Just maybe.
We could freeze the maintenance guys out, tell them to shut down their heaters.
Right after they turn the office heat on.
Once that become your new shop, isn't it?
They want me out of the office, I don't know, how they want to treat me.
just what I'm looking at.
Coming after me.
So of that utility, we've only spent about 30,000 this year so far, right?
Yeah, but I still have September, October, November, and December bills to pay.
Well, it's November, do we know about the baseball field?
No, I haven't heard from Clint yet.
That would be helpful. If we knew that, we could take that out.
No, I haven't heard from them. They meet. They got to be meeting here pretty soon.
I mean, there's no point in being in there. But we don't know, so we won't know. You got Clint's cell phone? Let's call him.
You wanna make a motion?
Yeah, ready to roll, aren't you?
I mean, I guess another suggestion, and I know Mitch isn't here right now. He's got 22 in yard waste. You know, we could maybe split the difference between the training budgets and maybe drop that to 20 again.
Can you roll with the training budgets and stuff?
Split the differences. Give 1,000 back to each one of the training budgets
Okay, and take 2 out of the other.
and take 2 out of the yard waste.
So what's the motion gotta be? Basically to take $26,000 out of the reserve fund to cover the, if needed.
With the changes that we're talking about, I mean, if everybody's in agreement with whatever changes. And then that'll become what the proposed budget at the budget hearing. And it's not set in stone yet. I mean, you still got the budget hearing that adjustments can be made.
It's true.
I just need something to go on so I can publish it.
get it done, I'm hoping we can meet on the 28th, 6 o'clock.
So while we're out there on the changes that we're talking about, if so, I would make the motion to.
Just real quick, is anybody not in favor of the yard waste thing? Splitting those difference, I guess.
You okay with it?
Put the motion out there.
Need to-
With the yard waste?
That's what I'm gonna, yep, that's, sure.
Yeah, well, I would make the motion that we would take the $26,000 out of our reserve fund to balance the budget according to the changes we made tonight.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
No.
I,
Sweet.
Motion carries.
No, two
No, he
no.
said aye for no.
I for no.
Oh, okay. Aye for no.
Well, you said all opposed then. That's me. I.
Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board then. Should we go back to taking that 70 off the board and changing that to 24? You don't want to do that? Where else could we cut though?
Well,
$26 is a lot to cut. I mean, I can up some of the revenues.
so is that 50? Well, that's one squad probably, huh? Please, okay, 50 there. 16. Well, the difficult, obvious points to bring up. We got started. So we got capital outlay parks, which is 38.5, which was budgeted 10 in 18. That's 28,000 more, right?
Correct.
And then for the park and rec general ops, we had 9,000 actual spent, with 30 projected.
Correct.
We budgeted for 30, so we're gonna budget another 30 in 19.
That's what was proposed.
So the painful question, and I hate to even ask because I know Kelsey's gonna jump on me, but if you take the 28,000 out of the 68.5 that you have there,
Say what?
you have,
What page are you on?
so if you look at page 9, you have 38.5 for proposed 19. And general ops for on page 8 was, you had actual park and rec ops in 17 was 73, 18 actual so far is 89, projected was 30, budgeted was 30, and we budgeted 30 again for 19.
Yep. I am putting rock at a park at Wardwell, fixing up shelters, repairing slides and swings, and install the new park equipment that I purchased.
Is that the install cost, or you're saying that's still pending, the install cost?
That will be paid next year, hence why it's on the 2019 budget. And it's actually going to come under by about $200, so instead of $6,500, it's going to be $6,300.
So if we adjust the capital outlay and or the ops to be whatever combined of whatever 42.5 to absorb the 26.
So you want to take out doing the tennis courts at all next year?
Take what's that?
Is that what I'm understanding? Do you have a copy of my budget, or was it in your mailbox?
If I may add, if we're taking out the 135, we got about a $4,100 surplus. If that's, remember. And that leaves everybody's budget the same. But that doesn't put any money back into the reserve for that project.
Right.
Say that again? Oh, sorry.
If we pull that 135 out entirely,
The 135.
it leaves us about a $4,100 surplus. So that just means we got 70,000 just sitting there for another year. And we don't put any money set aside for it this year. But it balances.
That's for out here again though.
Yes.
So then we're back to put it off here.
Then we're back to putting it off a year.
So the 135 you're talking about is which?
That's a capital outlay general gov for the new pavement, parking lot, whatever you want to call it, yard waste site.
Over here you're saying that.
Yeah.
So the total project would be 210 to do that?
No,
Oh,
that one section was like 140, I think is roughly what it, I don't have the proposal in front of me,
Yeah.
but
So that's the two options is basically what you're getting at. Yeah.
you pull that all together, you leave the budget status right now, or we keep that project and we come up with 46,000, or we use more reserve. 46. Well, I'm just going back to square.
Oh, got it.
26 if we take the.
26 if we do what we were gonna do.
We talked about.
So with the cuts.
But we just voted on that and that
Failed.
failed.
Yeah.
So,
So if you take the cuts, that we had already worked on, put together, change the 38.5 to, we take the 28 out of there, put it back at 10. Are we balanced
Where are you taking what from?
the capital outlay
For who?
for a park?
So you're thinking I have no capital outlay next year. That means no tennis courts are getting done.
Well, there's 10.
Well, I can't do a tennis court with 10. If you would read your packet, I need 23.5.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can do a tennis court. I'm saying you have 10 in there. So that and
Well, I
or
guess I'll use the 10 to rip them out, Steve.
that and or the 30 is for the install of the equipment.
yeah, you didn't have that?
I do have that.
Oh, you do.
Does he have the revised copy?
I don't think he's got the revised one.
No.
See, this part here, he left that open, maintenance lot capital outlay. Where the year before, we did put in 70,000, but this year there's kind of a question mark.
Mm.
You know, it's got everything on his budget right here.
I don't think we're saying that
Yeah,
he's not for or against not doing it. I think
yeah.
he'd probably rather do it, but
That's what he said. He'd rather do it, but he'd be okay if we delayed it another year.
I guess the decision that you guys have to make is can that lot last one more year? Another winter?
It's too late to do it this year anyway, ain't it?
Well, that's why it would be budgeted next year. I mean, it's, yeah. So, well, actually, then it'd be going 2 winters.
Mhm.
This winter and next winter.
Like he's got right here, lot outlay may need to come from reserve fund.
So Kelsey, if you dropped your 38.5 down to 23.5, so you can still get your tennis courts cut done?
Well, I can't guarantee. I mean, that's an estimate, so it could go down.
I understand that, but I'm just trying to, that would save $15,000, and we'd be only off by about 9. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Where you can still get your courts done. Because 9 grand's a little easier to chomp at than 23. I don't know.
I mean, you could look at really almost it if you're that close at 9, and you take that from reserve by the end of the year with track record, that may be a 0 budget.
Cool.
Right?
26 by track record is going to be a 0 balance, if not a surplus. I mean, again, I have revenues in there that I'm anticipating on a lower level too. So, It's a guessing game. I mean, you've done this enough. It's just a guessing game. I don't recall other than 1 year that we've actually zeroed our budget out, and that was because I think we lost an expense. I think one of the big loans or something came off, and we were able to actually call it a zero.
My first year as admin this year, we got it at 0. Because when we first started out, we sat here, we were like $6,000 over.
Yeah.
So it was pretty easy to. Wasn't a whole lot of tough decisions we made that one. So what were you thinking, bro?
Well, we're just trying to figure out a way she could still get her tennis courts done. If you drop that 38.5 down to the 23.5 that she needs for the courts, that leaves about $15,000 that we could put toward that 26. And that leaves your 30,000 in there still, so you can still put your rock in and all that. Fix your shelters. But like you say, is there going to be a big difference between the 9 and the 20 at the end of the year? I don't know. Could be.
So you're saying this one right here.
Where's it at? Right this year.
Just want to read this out.
I'm projecting 17,000.
Instead, we kind of already said we're going to go with that one.
Okay.
We transfer out about 20 because the utility fund pays back for audit and
That's the proposed.
things like that.
we
So
got
probably about
25,
37.
that would leave about 15.
And that's if everybody
So that would
spends.
leave tennis courts.
You know,
That would-
right now her general ops is at 9,000. I'm projecting 30 because I suspect she'll spend it all.
Yeah.
We still get that done, so she can make a lot of progress. and stuff, so.
You know, if, like I said, if the departments stop spending, it's going to be more. You know, some of my projected totals are just based on,
Yeah,
I mean,
trends.
on trends.
I will tell you, I probably gonna spend about 2,500 of it, to fix a door that the maintenance department needs, and then.
I'm not picking on, I'm
No,
just,
it's
I'm just
fine.
saying
I
as,
mean,
as a
but
total.
Everybody's, what's a need versus a want to you guys versus me is differently. I want people to come to the island, so I need to fix up our parks. That's my thought. Older people, I'm sorry, no offense, are passing away. We need to be attractive to young families. But anyway, yes, I did just purchase equipment for $15,000, which you guys knew was coming.
So, to answer that question, I anticipate at a minimum, if everybody spends what I project to be spending, probably about 37-ish going back into the fund. Now again, if some of the departments decide that they want to be a little bit more frugal for the remainder of the year, could be more. If some needs come up, could be less.
So keeping the paving in there for next year and park capital outlay at 38. Is that more over? We're higher. What is that amount?
That's at about 46.
46.
you also have to remember I might not be here next year. You could have someone totally different that doesn't want to spend any money. So maybe none of it will get spent. Those are just ideas for things that I think need to be done. So Ralph might not be here either. Terry might not be here.
And I guess, I mean, if Ralph's still game to give up his 13, I mean, now we're down to 33, so, but
Nobody wants to, but
I know you're playing your part, I appreciate that.
I have no problems helping out.
I don't have to. You guys do it for me.
I'm out of suggestions, so,
What's that?
I'm out of suggestions.
What do you think, Bob?
I think we'll just go with what I started out with here, and we're gonna be 26,000 over, but that, we tried that and it died on the floor.
It died on the floor. So I'd like to get that. It seemed there was a lot of interest or urgency to get that parking lot paved, and I haven't been here, so maybe that's died off. I don't know. I mean, the lot paved,
Yeah.
but you know, maybe it's not important.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, in your priorities, and I'd sure like to see a lot more money spent on stormwater problem. You know, Ralph's working on a project right now for the Delray. So we're hoping that solves that issue. But if not, it's sure gonna help. And now we gotta work on like the Lakeshore one there.
Mm-hmm. But we do have a fix for that. So we should be able to do that with pretty much zero additional cost.
If anybody would like to make a motion that we change Mitch's from 70 to 24,000, his capital outlay there for the parking lot all year on back, and then then we come up to a zero.
So yeah, you know, I guess in
We would
Perspective.
return everything here that worked on earlier back
yeah.
to what we
I
had.
mean, ultimately, if we get to the problem is to just run out of time. But if we get to that, where we end of the year this year, you find out. I mean, we project what our expenses or return will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And historically, we've got, I mean, departmental-wise, really good track record of that, not just spending it. So realistically, you could probably do it all, you know, because budget is just the budget, and you can go back and adjust it as the revenue shows up.
Correct.
And kind of that being said, that's right. I hate to do it, have a negative budget or be over on paper because you got that.
Makes you
You're
look,
starting out already that way.
yeah, makes you look mad.
It's the only reason by doing it that way. So, what was the amount you just said? Do it.
From Mitch's, he's asking 70,000 capital outlay, and if we returned everything back here back to originally what Chad come to us, and we changed that to 24,000 capital outlay, we would have it'd be zero. It'd be a balanced budget.
We'd be done.
Yeah, we'd be done.
I'm not in favor of this, but I'll say it anyway. Why don't you just keep all this out and then cut his a little bit less? Mitch's. So only cut it by 26.
Okay. So we, instead of being 24, it would be 44.
But that still delays it another year.
Correct.
But to that point, we you have, at least at that point, you have room if you're looking at where your revenues are by that midpoint, where you could still get it done. Right?
There might be other contractors too, yeah, but, you know, and then when Gerke does it, they put out the bids in like January, so the bids come in lower.
Actually, I like Kelsey's idea.
Yeah, I do too.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, that's giving the police and the fire their 2,000 back and taking, or 1,000 apiece and taking 2,000 for Mitch's yard waste. So that means your training's only 1,000 for each of you.
I like it.
Cool.
I like it.
Articulate that, please.
You're on.
I'll articulate it.
Here we go.
Do I put dollar amounts in there?
Yes.
Chad,
What's that?
do you want me to put dollar amounts in there?
No. You don't have to.
Well, so we know what we're doing. So the 13, you know, we're taking the 13 from the chip seal, 3,000 community center, 1,000 for fire training, and 1,000 from police, and then 2,000 for Mitch's yard waste to put us at the 26,000.
So 1,000, 13,000, 2,000
And 3,000 from the community center.
and community center.
And then we're changing Mitch's 70,000 down to 44.
That'll be 66 less whatever you're taking away, or 65.
Huh?
There was only an additional
Oh,
65,000.
65, okay.
Yeah.
65 minus 26. Someone do that? Anybody? I went to Logan.
I was going to use that excuse.
So 39,000? Am I on the right path so far? I haven't motioned yet, but am I on the right? Is everybody
That is, yes.
jiving? Chad's not. Chad is. You're nodding.
You got it?
Yeah.
Does it sound about right? You want a pad? A calculator?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I did the hard part now. You guys can do the motion. I articulated it, now you all do the motion. Bob, you haven't been here in a while. How would you do it?
Well, I see if I can recapture it without all the specifics, but I move to adopt the budget with the cuts that will change with the change of the yard waste, 2,000 reduction, and the paving project at 39
Yes.
instead of 60. I mean, we don't have to have the numbers in there, but right? Or do we?
Oh,
With the reduction in the funding for the outlot and the yard waste and the training budgets.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that's in the minutes. But
And community center.
And the community center. Thank you, Kelsey.
All right, who wants to second?
I'll second that. I have a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Motion carries. Can I get a motion to go in closed
oh,
session?
wait, we still got utility fund.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Utility fund, zero flexibility.
Okay.
You printed it, didn't you, Chad? This is just one.
Yeah, just yours. I didn't print a new one because there wasn't any changes from last
Really?
year.
All right. Well,
Nobody touched your budget.
I don't know what you need there. Money in, money out.
Money in, money out.
So the 2019 proposed I had, so at the end I wanted to make sure I circled that right. So the 659, 295.
Yep, yep. And actually, I'm still guessing on the flat rate, the 245.
That and the forever unknown.
Yes.
So
I mean, I'm just going off of historical.
yeah, we do have, we've got the meter now at least for accuracy. I would expect it actually to be less than that, but you never know.
Well, from revenue side, I hope it's
All
not
flat rate to
less.
service.
Yeah, I hope it's not less. Actually, it's probably going to come in more,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I would
But
agree. I know they've got the specter of increased rates hanging out there for 2019 or after 2019. So
but that won't necessarily change our revenue. That'll change
change that revenue
our
to-
expense.
Yeah, anything we charge extra from city users goes right back to the city anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And ours stays, ours just goes up. So utility board,
You wanna make a motion to accept the budget, utility budget as is?
I surely will move to accept the utility budget as presented, $659, $295.
I'll second that, I guess. I have a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Now,
That
can
was
I
easy.
get a motion to go into closed session?
Got my truck specs yet?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any-
On a roll call, Supervisor Craig,
Yeah.
Supervisor Thorne,
Yes.
Chairman Shalley,
I
Yes,
had it right.
and Supervisor Wolford.
Yes.
It gives me that look like I'm saying it.
I get a motion to go back in open session. I'll second that.
All right.
I got a motion by Kelsey, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We are open again. Move down to 6A, possible action on items discussed in closed session. Somebody want to make a motion then?
I moved to, got to do the amount step for the two positions, so the
Yeah.
75 first of the year is 75 July 1st, and 75 cents just first of the year for more time.
Okay.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
I'm abstaining.
Okay. So motion carries. So that concludes our business. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.